One, are we at? We're actually live.
It says you are live.
So I was thinking this could be like really fucking cheesy or really fucking awesome. So I'm thinking like so far it's feeling
It's probably gonna
really,
be cheesy.
It's feeling really fucking cheesy because we're sitting next to each other though. Like I feel.
Yeah, I know. We tried it a different way though, and couldn't get the mic to work very well. So just gonna have to go.
We're gonna
cheesy.
have to build.
I just not gonna like you. I'm just gonna act like I don't like you.
We're gonna have to build that studio that Cam was talking about. We're gonna have to go to one of the antique stores down there and get a table.
Yeah, let's do it.
It seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, well.
Do you have extra like $10,000?
Let me check my ass for that. Maybe I can pull it out of my ass.
Wait, you can shit money?
No. If I could shit money, we would have more money, more problems, right? You always have more problems.
No, that's fucking bullshit that poor people say so they don't have to feel sorry for themselves.
I thought that was a rapper that said that actually. Right?
Oh yeah, and I'm sure he's so mistreated.
I'm just saying, and he might have some problems.
Oh wait, our title says we're supposed to be talking about marriage, relationships, and more.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Since
hey, what's up? By the way, Kelly and Adam Toll here. Truth be told,
yeah,
we're here.
Truth be told, is I did not have enough beer yet for this.
I'm so sorry.
It's definitely going to be.
Apparently, he needs lots to be able to talk to me.
Definitely going to be cheesing out. This is still. I have to minimize all that.
Okay,
all right, there. We can just look
need.
at that.
Beautiful.
All right, so yesterday I did a video on. I mean, not in depth. None of my stuff is really in depth because.
It's pretty deep.
Well, deep from emotional perspective.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
So I was talking about relationships, marriage, and I thought, since it's related to what you're trying to do, I'm gonna put that back up there actually, just in case someone says anything. In relation to what you're trying to do, so I thought it would be cool to talk to you. Maybe not sitting like this, but that's how it ended up. This is not what I envisioned.
I'm really sorry.
Before,
I don't know.
Like
I really don't know what to tell you.
I mean, it's a poor man's body.
I would prefer that people, excuse me, be able to hear us rather than me screaming.
Well, they can hear us, I think.
That's what I mean. I hope so. I guess if
not, we still have 0 viewers.
Well, that's okay too.
So it doesn't matter if anyone heard us or not. But when they go back to watch it, they're like, well, these fucking retards were talking to themselves and no one told us otherwise because we have no friends.
It's all good.
So anyway, we had the marriage talk yesterday on my YouTube video. We talked a little bit about, I think, the 2 main stereotypes of marriage and relationship.
100%.
One being, I'll never have sex again, or one, I'm going to be trapped long-term forever.
Yep.
But I was going to start with like your backstory about your relationships, not your marriages that you've been involved in, because hopefully this is the only one I do
marriage
I do know about. But I guess the first question is let's talk about what would be the first stereotype, as in when you're in a long-term relationship, it's kind of hard most of the time to get out, or the longer the relationship goes.
Well, feeling trapped.
The longer the relationship, yeah, or the longer the relationship goes on. It's often hard for people lose sight of communication, but it's also harder for them to get out of it because they're just comfortable and used to it. So 100%. have you ever
well, you already know the answer to that question.
But it's fine. I don't know. Well, of course I know the answer. Like,
have I ever?
What the?
Sorry.
Holy
I know.
shit!
Okay, gotta watch my legs.
Earthquake in Massachusetts.
I apologize. So I think so feeling trapped in a relationship, I think it happens for a couple different reasons. Number one, we get very comfortable in where we are and don't want to get out of that because everybody likes to be comfortable. We don't like change. As humans, we don't like change. So that just makes sense. Number one. Also, it's kind of scary to think that you're going to like get out of something, and am I ever going to have something like this ever again, or anything similar to that ever again? And I think you touched on that a little bit yesterday, like just saying, people don't like to be alone. As humans, we're scared of loneliness. I think that's one of the biggest fears we probably have. So I think definitely
Sorry, I was just
one of the things. Yes, I see you're typing. You're distracting me.
Oh, sorry. I also
No,
threw up in my mouth a little bit from
shut
that
up.
belch. Not what you're talking about. Shit. I was just saying it is. It's
Yeah,
whatever. All right,
thanks.
keep going.
So anyway, so my experience with that, I was actually in a long-term relationship that didn't end up so well, but I think I got very comfortable, and I also kind of lost myself. So something else Adam was talking about yesterday, I think is very true, is we if you're not in the right relationship, you lose yourself a little bit and try to become something that isn't who you are.
Right.
And I think that is the downfall of a lot of relationships. It definitely was the downfall of that one, because I was not who I wanted to be. I was becoming the person that somebody else wanted me to be. So
Yeah,
and that's never healthy for you.
I feel like it leads to a lot of. Excuse me. Sorry. I feel it leads a lot. I feel like it leads to a lot of resentment.
No, I agree.
And then like resentment ends up just like making people put up walls even more. So when that kind of stuff starts happening, it's almost like the relationship is like it's been over. As soon as you as a human being have sacrificed enough of your personality to be in a relationship or cohabitate with somebody, I feel like the relationship was over as soon as that started happening. And that's just my opinion, obviously.
No, I think you're right, but I think the other part of that is not all of us. I mean, we all grow and continue to grow as we get older. The difference is you don't have to know who you are to be in a good relationship, but you have to be able to be comfortable with who you are at that point, right, knowing that other person is going to grow with you. So, I mean, I was actually thinking about this earlier, just thinking about what are we going to talk about tonight? And I was thinking, my God, I didn't really know who I was till like 5 years ago. But we grew together through the last 10 years. You know, that was something we did together, and that's why our relationship works.
I had a different experience, I guess. I think I knew who I was like early on in my life, but I think that I lost sight of myself. So it was the same feeling, but I already I knew who I was for a long time.
No, yeah.
And it's probably.
But you've still grown.
Right? No, I'm just saying like I've had the same experience, but it's totally different for me. As in, like I already knew who I was, but then I lost sight of myself, which is even like I don't know. That could even be harder because I know what I can be or know what I was, and then like when that goes away.
Marley wants to play so bad.
Marley, there's fucking one person watching this. Cut it out. We have an audience here. Dear Lord.
Oh my
Sorry,
gosh.
dog. But yeah, so I think once those pieces, and you keep giving more pieces and pieces, I think once, like I'm saying, once that starts to happen, I think the relationship is actually over. But it takes people, like I was in a relationship like that, and it took like 2 years to realize that it was a bad relationship, which is insane to think about it, because 2 years is not an insane amount of time, but to be in a relationship in which there's resentment and in a relationship where there's resentment, like 2 years is an eternity.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
oh my gosh,
being married to me is probably an eternity as well. But
no, that's not true at all. Adam's a pain in my ass, but you know, it works, and it works. I'll never forget. Actually, since Luke is watching, hey, by the way, never forget when Luke said to us, "I don't know how you guys even like each other." Like this was years ago. But it's because we banter, but it works for us. Right. We're never disrespectful to each other. I don't remember one time that we've ever been disrespectful to each other. And I honestly think well, that's not true. But we grew out of like any kind of disrespect.
Maybe Callie was disrespectful. Maybe you want to share the one time that you thought you were disrespectful.
No, I'm just saying, It for the most part, we've never been disrespectful, and I think that's a big part of it. I think you have to respect the person. You may not agree, but you grow from it.
For a male, though, like disrespect is the ultimate diss.
I agree.
For a man,
100%.
For a female, I think I don't know if it's love or trust. Obviously, I don't know anything about being a female. I don't desire to ever, want to even try to think about that, but
yeah,
but I think once respect is lost mutually, yeah. But for a man, I'm just saying it's way more like.
I would agree with
Actually, if I had to say, most men probably rank respect over love. It's like it's an alpha. It's a testosterone thing, most likely.
Yeah, no, it most
mean,
definitely is.
I mean,
it most definitely is. I do think though with men and talking about testosterone, I think that those two things kind of go hand in hand for how a woman shows that though. Like a woman will show respect if she feels loved. So that's
maybe
when a relationship
it's the love
falls
language.
to the ground. And I mean,
the
love language is kind of a thing. And I was actually going to say all women kind of feel love a different way. So you can't say, well, he gets me flowers and I feel loved. That's not the truth for everybody. And it's definitely not true for me.
Whatever, you love flowers.
Well,
you don't want to tell anyone.
every once in a while I like flowers.
You don't want to tell anyone that you're a girl.
I'm not a girly girl. So.
Oh, and the second, okay, so now that we've, I mean, see, you asked what we were going to talk about. I could talk about anything for hours.
I know, and we will.
But the second part of that stereotype was, and I think they actually go hand in hand, was you stop having sex. But I think if the first stereotype holds true, then often the second one is like close to follow. It's like as soon as someone feels disrespected, or as soon as you start sacrificing yourself, and as soon as there's any sort of resentment, like sex definitely falls by
100%.
It's like one of the first things probably to fall by the wayside.
Yes,
for a lot of people.
And actually, it probably happens before the brick wall of resentment like falls. At least in relationships, I've seen that this has happened to in my experience. Like in my work, it always seems like there was resentment before, and I actually have a patient that this recently happened to. Resentment definitely was happening before, and then the sex stopped and the cheating began, unfortunately, and then then the wall really goes up, and then it just like continues to like spiral out of control. It's very unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't want to scare anyone, but if you're going like 3 or 4 months and she's not sleeping with you, she's probably sleeping with someone else.
Well, that's not 100% true.
I said I didn't want to scare. I didn't say it was 100% factual. But
it goes for both ways.
In my professional opinion and experience,
it goes both ways.
Too. I think, and I mean, some people, some relationships aren't as sexually active as as others.
And I think it goes through waves as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it depends on stresses in life, and it depends on if people have children. We don't have kids, so we don't understand how that impacts your life. But I really think that there's definitely times, and the thing is, and this is something Adam only understands because I have beat it into his head, I think, is that women emotionally is so, women's emotions are so connected to their like sexual desire. Right. So as soon as you start pulling the emotional side of it, women will have very little sexual desire. And that's true for 99% of women. I really think it is.
Oh. A man can have sex in any scenario.
And that's what I mean. A man can actually hate you scenario. And might still probably want to have sex with you.
There's not a scenario
called testosterone. That is a hormone.
Oh, that's called, but that also goes back to like what you were talking about the other day. Like people are just, the need, as Joe Rogan would say, the need to breed is too strong.
Oh, it is.
So I'm saying like even if you're not as sexually active as some people, I'm thinking if you're going like 6 months, a year, the person is probably either, and it might not even be a physical connection they're having with someone else, they're confiding in someone else. Yeah. It's once, like, it just, it could be like a best friend they're confiding in, but I feel like once they stop confiding in you, then physical goes out the window, emotional goes out the window, and there's just,
and probably getting that emotional response from someone else that isn't your spouse.
Yeah, because humans
or your partner.
Not only do humans obviously have physical needs that need to be met, everyone has emotional needs that need to be met.
Well, yes.
So if you're not meeting either one of those, then it's time to hang up the phone.
I agree. Or you just go to counseling. I was actually about to like kill Adam at one point, and we went to like 2 counseling sessions, and we worked our shit out quick.
We worked that shit out quick because I didn't want to pay that person.
That is not why. No, we went to one session. We went home and talked like for 2 weeks straight, basically. Went to the second session and she said, well, it sounds like you guys got your stuff figured out. And we are not perfect. I'm not saying we're perfect. Maybe we still have our crap, but
I'm good with wake-up calls, though.
You're good with wake-up
Like
calls.
when people are like, hey, stupid.
Oh, well,
you
yeah.
should stop being stupid.
Hey, stupid. You should stop being stupid because I'm going to kick you out of my house.
Except when they came from my father. I was never good at that. Like, he would be trying to give me wake-up calls, but I didn't give a shit. So.
Yeah, well, sometimes
maybe that means you're important.
It takes some time. Oh, thanks. I'm so happy.
First cheesy line of the day, number 1.
I'm so sure that's number 1.
Well, I mean, I thought it was going good until, I gave you the cheese right there.
The cheese.
Yeah, it was very cheesy.
The cheese.
So, what initially, when did you first find out that you were, like, interested in sexuality, relationships?
Are you talking about personally or professionally?
Yeah, both is fine. You can start with one or the other, or you can choose one or the other. Personally, we know how that goes. I know you.
I mean, yeah, you know me. So I think from a professional standpoint, it became very apparent to me. Well, that's really hard because I think it started with me figuring out that I wanted to work in trying to prevent like STDs. Like it was very simple when I started and like really becoming interested in human sexuality. So it started with just wanting to prevent diseases and unwanted pregnancies and educate women more about their bodies. And that's really how it started.
Yeah.
And then I actually started taking classes and doing research and reading way outside of that. And I became very interested in human sexuality and how we as people and women and men and whatever you identify as.
I didn't know where you're going with that.
Well, I did. I just couldn't think of the word. How our brains work and how we work in relationships. Yeah. And so I think it started very simple for me, but it became like very complicated actually, and way more than just hormones and how our bodies work, but also like how our brains really are so attached to our bodies. It is amazing to me how our brains are attached to our bodies. It's crazy.
That's amazing to you. It's
Shut the hell up. That's not what I mean.
Going?
I mean, how our emotions. You're such an ass.
Kelly is amazed.
Whatever. How our emotions are attached, you ass,
Holy shit.
how our bodies react.
Are you sure? We probably need to check to see if that degree that you got is
I don't know. Is my brain, is it like in here? Is it attached to my body? Are you sure?
Kelly is amazed at human anatomy, ladies and gentlemen. Sign her up.
I like might have taken a couple classes.
Oh shit!
We got another earthquake. Whoops. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
But that's a good question. I mean, personally, I don't know. I think it was just part of me learning who I am as a person. I think we all, well, not all, I will not say that. I think a lot of people that are open to learning about their own sexuality, it's a growing process from age 9 all the way until 79. I just think it's a continuing, growing process of learning who you are and what you want, and I mean, I think that's a lot. Oh, I'm so
at least someone's laughing at us.
Yeah, I'm glad that Luke's watching. And he's laughing.
Like, okay, so since we drawing off of that, like, why the fuck don't we talk about it then?
What, sexuality?
Sex.
There's
sex in general. Sexuality is fine too, but I mean,
gosh.
I always remember whenever
this is a hard conversation.
Whenever I think about that though, like I always think about my mom when she's around and she's like, all you guys ever talk about is sex.
That's true too.
It is true. We talk about it in front of anybody, even my own poor mother.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we've never talked about sex in front of my dad. He would literally run.
Yeah, it's kind of not worth it in front of some people, but
at the same token.
But at the same time, we really should anyway.
Like why?
And actually, we probably have. We just don't really think about it. We probably actually have. I know we've had these conversations in front of my mom, which my mom doesn't really care. But at the same time, it's not something we talk about all the time. But I don't know.
It's not something we talk. We definitely talk about it.
We. I don't mean we.
Our life is so boring. All we talk about is
I
penis and
know.
vagina.
Right? And I mean, I literally studied this for a while, and I want to continue to study human sexuality, get way outside of just like what I'm doing right now in women's health. But I don't, I think, it's so hard. It's like a combination of cultural hot mess, religious views, which if you're religious, great. If it works for you, that's wonderful. But I think it just puts a really it puts a huge strain on being able to be open about sex and talk to your kids about sex, because for a lot of people it's about abstinence only. And I won't get into all of that because you know that I'll just go on like rants forever. But I mean, why don't we talk about sex? I don't know. I mean, I literally ask people if they're sexually active in my office, and they like start blushing and look at me like I'm crazy.
Like they should.
Hello, I'm an OBGYN. Like, this is what I do.
I'm gonna be seeing everything today.
Like, why can't you talk to me about your sexual partners?
No, that's super weird. But I think a lot of, whether it's religion or parents trying to be overprotective, I think the reason why people don't necessarily talk about sex is because the parents want to teach it and don't like the way the school is doing it, or vice versa. The parents don't want to do it at all. And then, and so then, but they also don't want the school. Like there's that hard, or there's this like gray line of, I don't want the school to do it, but I don't really want to do it either.
Yeah.
And I'm just like trying to figure out, and I think about this all the time for no reason. Like, why did we decide that, like, it's the same thing with like the F word. Like, if you say fuck, like, why have we decided that sex is literally a word?
Yeah.
If you say like fuck, it gives a response. Like, people have a response when you talk anything sexual, or if you use like the F word, or select other words.
You say penis
that I will not
or
say.
You say vagina, or you say breasts,
like
you say
we don't say breasts,
vulva.
We say titties.
I mean, there's like words that we don't use that we should be using.
Right.
If I actually, a couple weeks ago, I think this is like the best thing I took away from
vulva.
This. It's a freaking word, Adam.
Funny word.
It's not a funny word. It's called a vulva.
I know, it sounds funny though. Is it not allowed to sound funny?
It's like part of a woman's like, pubic region. How about that for an explanation?
It's kind of funny too, pubic region.
Whatever. Anyway,
it's all the same.
I did an interview with a certified sex educator like a month ago.
That was good.
An amazing experience. Actually, I learned a lot from her. But I think one of the best things I learned from her was, so she had her, I don't remember who it was. I think it was one of her clients came to her and said her kid got in a lot of trouble at school because they had been using the word noodle to describe his penis. And then, do you remember this?
Yeah.
In this? So, and then in school, the teacher had said to figure out the answer to the question, you have to use your noodle. And he like pulled his penis out in the middle of class. So this is what happens when we don't use real words with our kids and teaching them things. So it's not just like simple things like, you don't talk to your 8-year-old about sexual intercourse maybe, but you need to teach them what are the proper names for your parts. Because if a teacher touches them in an incorrect way, you want to know where.
Yeah.
You don't want
my noodle.
Yeah, touch my noodle. What the hell is that? Opposed to.
I mean, if someone said touch my noodle, I'm in. But I have a disgustingly vile.
Yeah, I was
vile
say,
brain.
you're gonna immediately go to like, oh, okay.
Yeah. That's where I go for everything.
Yeah,
That's what we just talked about.
I mean, like I said, I think it's a big cultural thing too, because we throw so much sex in everybody's faces.
Well, we're hypersexual,
in the media?
and it's over. Everything's been oversexualized. Like that Lisa.
We did watch her.
What was her last name?
Lisa Ling. Lisa Ling. She used to be on. What show did she used to be on?
I don't know.
No, I don't remember.
Some lady that's on CNN these days.
Yeah, she's on CNN.
Here's what she did before. She's doing the Lord's work now.
Yeah. Oh well.
But CNN though, fuck that. It's a democratic.
She did an amazing piece last week though, and it was all about porn. And that's not why it was amazing. It was about the bad effects or the negative effects that the porn in our society can have on us. And it was actually very interesting. So I pulled a lot from that.
So while that was happening though, I thought about like I was raised with only abstinence only sex education, obviously. I'm definitely going to hell because I had sex before marriage. It's 100% like that. I'm honest. That's like what they that's what they said, right? They were.
I know. I grew up in the same. I grew
They're
up
like,
in a
if
Catholic
you
church.
have
so
sex
I
before
totally get it.
marriage, you're definitely gonna meet Satan. Like I really like,
Oh, I know.
and like
I could feel my
so, like,
my legs burning.
so that
Sorry, I had to go there.
so the oppression at that level, like already, if you're taught that at a very early age, just say like they start saying that shit to you, and I'm not talking about just religion. I'm just saying this is my experience. I'm not talking bad about religion. I think religion works for a lot of people.
Yes.
But I'm saying if you start that narrative at the age of 7, who can I go to talk about sex? I have no one to talk about sex because it is
Except for your peers.
Yeah, we don't fucking do this.
That's who.
And it's bad, and you don't do it till marriage, and everyone's gonna wait. Like you almost thought it was like, oh, everyone's gonna wait, right? Like you.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was ingrained so much into your
and there was a
brain.
point. I remember there was a point in my life where, because I grew up in the Catholic Church, so very abstinence only and wait until marriage and all of that. And like I said, like Adam said, it works for some people. Did not work for me. But it was this like, I have sexual thoughts. I'm going to hell right now. Like if I died tomorrow.
Oh shit.
Yes, that's how I felt. Because we really were. I felt so much guilt for any kind of sexual thought ever in my head.
That's so weird.
Like, but that's just how it was in church.
No, I understand.
And I remember
that.
doing sex ed in church.
You had sex ed at the Catholic Church?
Hell
I can
yes, we did.
only imagine the jokes that everyone just thought of in their head right there because I had about a million.
Okay, no, we're not
I'll
going to
keep
go
them
there.
to myself.
I had a
That is-
fantastic priest.
That is fucking
no, we're not
material
gonna
for.
go
Yeah, it's
there.
because you're a girl.
Yeah,
All right.
well,
Anyway, that's the only one I'll say.
Yeah, that's going somewhere totally different. But no, it was. But it was very similar to what you're saying, though. It's like you have this thought that everybody else is going to be like this, and then all of a sudden you find out everybody else is not doing this. So it's like, well, then what the hell am I supposed to do? Should I be sexually active? Should I not be sexually active? Should I be thinking these thoughts? Or are we all just going to go to hell? I remember thinking that at one point. Like, we all must just be burning in hell. Because
I mean,
every other 17 and 18-year-old girl and boy that I knew at the time, pretty much, not every, but most of them, were engaging in something.
Yeah, but then you had like this whole narrative.
And you weren't like kissing people like that when we were 18.
You always had that like narrative too. You're just like, well, maybe if I just have oral sex, it's not the same thing as.
Oh no, that was not. That was not at all. It was any kind of sexual contact.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, no. So back to the whole thing though. I was trying to go there. Is I remember.
Get off topic.
But it's not off topic. I pretty much learned probably about sex through porn when I was like 10, not 10, I think I was like 12, 13. And I actually remember dad brought me this was the time when the internet was charged by the minute.
Oh yeah.
And then websites would just charge the shit to your phone bill. And there was like charges for some crazy porn site. And I was like, holy shit, he's gonna I'm gonna get lit on fire. And I don't remember, it was only like I spent like $20 or something. But at the time, this is like a dial-up modem. So you're literally like waiting for the picture to load.
I was
like,
gonna say, I would love to know
literally
what that looked like.
At the time, porn was not readily available either. So there were still websites you would go on, and they would charge you money to be on them.
Yeah.
It's like every image downloaded.
My first experience really was like an actual videotape. So there was no like loading of anything.
What's up, Julius?
Oh my gosh.
This is adult material. It's okay.
You've
fine.
heard most of
You've
this
hung
anyway.
out with me before. Where's your mother? But so yeah, I got it. So my only exposure at that age was like via porn, and that's very scary, especially after what we watched. Lisa Lin or Ling or whatever
Lisa
her
Ling.
name is.
I think it's Lisa Ling.
Like we're allowing that to shape young minds unintentionally. It's not even intentional. It's like subconsciously.
Well, it is because we are only, and her greatest point was, and a lot of the points that were made by a lot of people that she interviewed was that we're not giving anybody real content. Like we're only seeing what porn is, which is an entertainment industry.
Right.
These people are paid to have sex
Right.
on camera so that other people are entertained by it. And that is not what real sex is.
It's like a horror
And I've
movie.
talked about this on my video stream as well. That is not real sex. Real sex is clumsy and sweaty and kind of gross sometimes, and people fall off of the bed.
Julius is turning this off now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Julius. And I mean, it's just not pretty all the time. That's not what real porn is. So if you learn anything today, that's what you should learn. No, I'm just kidding. There's lots of things to learn, but
Well, my sex life is like a porno, so it's fine.
oh my god. And now he turned it off.
He already turned it off before I made that
I'm just
comment. It's
kidding.
fine. He was probably already
Yeah.
but here's a prime example. Like
Yeah.
he heard sex and it's like
Let's go away.
we have to
Let's go
like
away.
we have to fucking get over that. Man. It's
I
so
know.
insane. It's
this-
whether you're religious or not, your sole purpose in life, whether
Yes.
we don't have to discuss this shit ever again. People are like, what's the purpose in life? It's to continue the species. That is every living thing that's ever existed.
It is.
I think as humans, since we are of higher intelligence, we try to put ourselves on like this higher like plane of thinking, like we should be on this
Yeah.
pedestal. Like, well, since we can
Yep.
think about it and since we have emotions attached to it, we think there's like something like this bigger existence, or we're fighting for this bigger noble cause. No, we're here to fuck and continue the species. That's it. That's it.
Okay.
And I know that's
We literally
my
are
opinion,
monkeys.
but
We
that
said-
is
it is some
some
serious monkey shit going on.
I hate
That's
to
all
break
is.
it down to you, but that is the truth.
Because
I'm sorry.
and we are a much more intelligent species than just monkeys, so we can do
Yeah,
a
for
lot
sure.
more than just have sex and have children. But at the same time,
That doesn't mean we're any different
No,
than any other species.
we still have a
though.
drive to do it. So this is why we need to teach people how to use a goddamn condom and take a birth control pill until you're ready to procreate and have more.
You said goddamn, you better quote the Hail Mary.
Mm.
I don't even know what that is, actually. I was not raised Catholic, so. Oh, no.
I'm sure I could say the whole thing all the way through. I won't do that
let's
right now.
not do that.
Yeah. So
I'm just wondering at some point, like, when is enough?
I don't know, man, but I'll tell you right now, we are not going in the right direction. We were at an all-time low of things like unwanted pregnancies and STDs in like 2013, and since then we have done nothing but go up. We have the highest rate of syphilis right now than we've had since like the 90s.
I don't
There's
know.
clearly a problem.
Which one's that one?
Syphilis?
Yeah.
So syphilis usually it's like a sore that you get, but then after that, you don't have symptoms until it's like in your brain.
It's one of those,
So
huh?
somebody could have syphilis for 25 years and all of a sudden people think they have dementia, but actually it's syphilis because it's the same symptoms as dementia.
Super, super interesting.
And it can make you very sick. And we have the highest rates right now than we've had in like 20 years. It's super scary, honestly. Very, very scary.
I don't even know, but the solution is like people are gonna have to stop blushing when they hear the S word.
The S word.
The S word is not shit. Maybe it's the F word when they hear the F word too. Like,
What, fuck?
They go want. I mean, fuck, sex means the same thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, sure.
It's. I'm so sad.
I know,
after
it makes
watching
me
that
very
shit,
frustrated.
actually.
And Adam and I we talk about this all the time because this is like what my passion in life is somehow make a difference.
Your passion
with
in
this.
life is sex. You heard it here first. I'm covering my hand like you can't hear me.
Because I can't hear you. No, for real though, I don't know what else we can do about it. That's why I want to talk about it all the time and just tell people how to.
Let's talk about sex.
Yeah, I right? Can we play that song right now?
No,
Like, where
we
is that?
cannot. We'll get copyrighted
Oh,
instantly.
yeah, that's
via
true.
YouTube.
That's
there are
very true.
rules.
Yeah, I forgot. I don't like rules.
We
Rules
know.
are no fun.
You know.
What else you got, Toll? Anything?
Um,
I mean, that turned from marriage to a hot mess of relationships straight into the need for more sex education. I kind of liked that whole
you
spin.
like
was
that
pretty good.
routine?
Yeah, I
I
liked
think it also goes on. Like, I feel like the black and white of the world is also ruining the whole. Like Joe said, like it's us versus them. It's parents versus the school, and
or it's parents versus the sex educators, or it's the church against sex education, or I mean that's really what it's become, instead of, hey, we're all humans, we all procreate the same way, but let's learn how our bodies actually work.
It's kind of like they made a book that's, everybody poops because no one wants to talk about that either.
Yeah.
Why don't they make a book that says everybody fucks? And
they pretty much do have lots of those books, actually.
But why?
I can post a link to lots of books because I have found a lot of them for
it's just
kids from age 6 to 16.
6. But I assume that's more like...
Well, that's learning about your body, but that's part of your sexuality. You have to learn about your body to understand anything about sexuality. And for women, actually, it's kind of difficult. I was listening to an interview today, and they were pointing out something very interesting that I hadn't really thought of. Boys, at a young age, when they first start having wet dreams or all of that.
Never had one either, by the way.
Well, whatever.
No,
I know, I'm just saying.
It's not weird.
So men very quickly understand how their body works.
Yeah, because there's remnants of it in the bed sheets.
Well, not only that, but their penis gets erect.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's like a very clear, like, hey, I'm ready for the world. Women don't have that. And if women don't explore and somebody doesn't tell them that they should be doing that, then it's very difficult for some women to really understand what works for my body.
Like you would even know the sensation of being horny because you don't have any physical... Well, you do have some physical, but it's not like...
But it's not as blatant as a man's erect penis. That's what I'm saying.
I'm pitching a tent here. What's going on?
Yeah. So I think that's a good description because I think it's very different. And I'm not saying women have it harder than men do. I'm just saying like...
they got it harder than...
Yeah, I just said that.
All right, sorry.
No pun. It's fine.
Pun.
No pun was intended, but hey, whatever.
It worked, though.
It totally worked. I think that, anyway, I thought that was a really good description because I think that for women, it can be more difficult. Men, it's like, hey, this is what I do and I have an orgasm. Women, it's not that easy.
Men are in for it anyway.
Exactly.
It's actually terrible.
I know.
She said, oh, I just need a warm place. I mean, that's what men are in it for.
Oh my God, now we're going downhill very quickly.
How is that downhill? That's true.
But honestly, all it really comes down to is communication. And this is everything we just talked about.
Right.
Like from the very beginning. Communication.
Well, I talked about that yesterday at the end.
I know, I heard.
Of my video.
And that's really all it's ever about. It's communication. It's communication about sex. It's communication about your emotions and what you need emotionally. It's communication about, hey, I need to grow a little bit more as a person. I need you to help me do that.
Yeah.
We did that at one point. It's like, I need help. You need to help me. And holy crap, I'm 10 times of a better person than I was 5 years ago.
Well, I think that holds a lot of people. I think bad relationships can hold a lot of people back.
Oh, 100%. Just like we were talking about earlier. I think that... It's hard to grow when you don't feel like yourself.
Right.
So if you're in a relationship where you can't feel like yourself, it's very difficult to grow.
Well, and back to the whole sex thing too. If you feel like you can't talk to... I feel like if you discuss sex with your partner, it opens up a lot of more avenues where you can be honest in other areas. Because since sex has been made so taboo or so something that we just don't talk about, like, I feel like if your partner and you are willing to talk about that, it actually helps you in other avenues of your relationship. Because if you can talk about something that we have decided is the most intimate thing ever,
yes,
then you can talk about anything, right?
Yes.
And
I honestly think that if a woman can talk to a man about actually, it goes both ways, I think. Because I think in most good relationships, men and women want to please each other, right?
Yeah.
So
we're not just here for the warm.
If you have the strength to talk to your partner about, hey, I need something different from you in sex, then it is a heck of a lot easier to talk about everything else.
Yeah.
Because that is a hard conversation to have for some people.
Well, I always try to figure out,
especially for men that have this huge ego and testosterone, like I talked about earlier, really hard for women to say, hey, I need something different and you're not doing it correctly. Or, I mean, I've had women come to me in my office and say, I don't know how to have this conversation. Well, you just got to have it. I mean, there's no easy way.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, for people
have
that
that conversation.
have trouble having that conversation, like, since we've made it so insane to talk about or whatever,
Yeah.
maybe that's why, like, people can't even begin to have that conversation.
I agree.
But that leads to so much bullshit. I mean, it's so insane to me.
It
Like,
is.
it
And I only
shouldn't-
laugh because I struggle with this so hard. I don't understand. Well, I do though. So this is the thing. In my position right now, I don't understand why it's so hard. But 10 years ago, it was hard.
For you to talk about sex?
15 years ago, it was really hard. Yes. 10 years ago, it was hard. 15 years ago, it was really, really hard because that's before I went to nursing school. Once you get into nursing school, it's kind of easy to talk about everything,
Right.
like poop and pee
Everybody
and
poops. I guess-
buttholes. And I mean, you just can talk about anything for the most part when you're a nurse, but I just think it's also part of like you growing and being more comfortable with yourself. You have to be comfortable with your own sexuality, like I said earlier, before you can talk to anybody
Well, it's
else
just
about
like you
it.
have to be happy with yourself before you can make someone else happy.
Exactly. It's all it comes down to.
I think I never had problems talking about sex. I'm also a vile human being who enjoys laughter. So,
But I think
my
that
my go-tos were making jokes about that shit.
and that's what I was gonna say. So I don't think that you noticed that you could talk about it seriously for a long time.
Yeah,
Like,
but
it took you a
I
while.
could have if someone would have asked.
Yeah, so maybe you never came across the right person because you just joked about it all the time. You made
It's because-
sexual references about everything.
It's because it's the easiest way to make someone's
Yeah.
skin crawl or make them turn
I
red is
know,
to talk
but
about that
that-
shit, and it doesn't bother me at all.
I understand that.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like maybe if my approach is if we make it less serious, then maybe people are willing to talk about it.
Yeah, but if you take too much serious out of it,
I'm
then
not trying to take too much. I'm just trying to start the
then it's.
conversation.
I understand that. I get
That's
that.
how you should start every conversation. That how you get into in-depth conversations and how you get people to start listening to all the serious shit. You have to first make them comfortable.
I agree.
Which I'm
Totally.
very, to be an arrogant prick, I'm very good at making people feel comfortable.
Or really uncomfortable when you want to.
Well, fuck.
When you talk about making people's skin crawl, I can only think of one person. I won't say the name, but I just think it's so funny.
Oh, she's not the first, and she won't be the last
no,
victim.
I know. It's just, yeah. Wow. Yeah. If he wants to make your skin crawl, he will. He'll find the button. I promise.
I'm glad we don't live in Indiana anymore, so I never have to see her ever again.
I would agree with that. Hey, whatever.
I couldn't
It's all
care.
good.
I couldn't care less. But yeah, I think the like. So if someone's having like trouble talking to somebody, I wonder.
Well, and if you're going to say what's the right approach,
I don't know if
Is
there
that
is
what
right.
you're
I
gonna
think
ask?
there is
There
no
isn't a
right
right
approach.
approach.
You just say that shit. Right?
you just have to say it out
Yeah.
loud. And that, and sometimes in what I've read and what I've tried a little bit with my patients is practicing. Like, what words will you say? Because you can't go over like things in your head.
Yeah, maybe you just avoid the sex word completely.
Well, you can't do that.
What
No,
if
no.
you just say I'm not getting enough, or so there's something missing in our connection in
Oh,
the
you-
bedroom?
oh,
like
you-
just completely
you're
avoid the
saying
sex
just
word while having
avoid
the conversation
the
about
sex word. Yeah.
Because it's possible to talk about sex without saying sex.
No, I agree with that.
They should just use the F word instead.
But I honestly, when I've really talked to some of these people, like we talked about earlier, it usually comes way down to something very simple that has absolutely nothing to do with sex anyway.
Right? Yeah, it's an emotional.
So.
Or it's something that has nothing to do with sex at all.
Mm-hmm. Like your ass won't take the trash out, so I'm not gonna have sex with you.
People say that shit.
No, that's just a very simple.
I hope that is, but I do think that probably happens. People are probably using sex for leverage
Well,
in a
no,
relationship.
no, I'm saying like if you feel like you put way more into a household or into a relationship than somebody
that's what
else.
you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, like his
You're not
ass-
saying, hey, mother.
No, you take the trash out or I'm not going to have sex with you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I think that part of a relationship is you compromising and being together and doing things together and helping each other out. And if one person is doing 90% of it and the other is doing 10, that person with 90% probably has a shit ton of resentment. Like, you keep talking about resentment.
Yeah, it's true.
And nobody's happy in any room in the house when that's happening.
So if you were looking for an easy way to talk about sex,
There's not. I'm sorry.
There's not an easy way.
Actually, there is. You just say, hey.
Our sex life sucks.
Or
we need to start over.
Or, hey, I know we our sex life hasn't been great recently, but I think if we talked about these things and changed these things in our life, maybe it would be much better.
And hopefully she doesn't say, I need you to take the trash out more.
I mean, if that's something she wants you to do, then maybe you should do it.
I'm glad we don't even have that problem. Take the trash anywhere.
We don't have to take the trash.
To the
well,
dump.
we do. We have to take it to the dump, but we do that together, so it's all good.
Hey, we're friends. We stay in touch.
Probably why we stay in touch. Or why we've stayed.
I mean, you live here. You have
been
to
together
stay in touch.
We've been together as long as we have, and we haven't killed each other yet. Because we're friends. I think that's a big part of it, too.
I haven't thought about where I'm going to put your body yet.
Oh, my God. I already know where I'm going to put yours. And I already have, like,
we just moved. What are you talking about? This plan is not thought out anymore. The plan is definitely changed.
Shit, that's right.
Yeah. Who are you going to leverage now?
Shit. Because then I'm going to have to, like, put you in the back of the car and drive you all the way back to Indiana.
There's a fucking lake right here.
Oh, that's true. But lakes are, I don't know. It's kind of fishy. I wouldn't want to put you this close to the house. All right, this conversation went down.
All right, well, I'm glad she's thought about it a little bit longer than I wish she should have.
I got a couple people that said they'd help me already, so, yeah.
I'm about to fight some people then.
Whatever.
I'm about to fight some people if they said that shit. That's disturbing.
Okay.
This is the only religion I believe in right there. It says
beer?
Beer is proof. Oh, see? Wait, no, see? The camera thing has got me all...
Yeah, beer is proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy.
If you don't believe that, then...
I'm sorry.
All right, well, I think we've exhausted our time here. We'll probably do this a bazillion more times. I see it going that way, unfortunately for you.
Let's do it.
Unfortunately for you.
Hopefully next time we have a setup that I don't have to sit this close to him.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
Oh, shit. Well,
like I said, you got a few $1,000.
I told you I'll pull it out of my ass, but I can't.
We could write it off as a business expense.
Probably not gonna be green.
Truth be told, LLC.
Oh, sounds good to me. Shit.
I know a couple people that have some like give me a loan.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't have anyone that would do that
no,
shit.
Let's not do it.
I'm keeping it unprofessional as long as I have less than 500 followers. Here's the thing: if we reach 500 subscribers on YouTube, I will at least get 2 microphones and some sort of setup where you don't have to look like right next to me because it feels kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of funky. I don't know. But at the same time, I don't know. I guess we need some feedback.
There's just not enough room. You're in my fucking personal bubble.
I understand, but shoot.
I don't like you this much in my personal bubble.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
I'm just going to start pushing you out of the way.
So that or you weren't going to hear us, so I don't
I mean, they want to hear me.
Oh my god. All right, well, anyway, so I think that wraps it up for Truth Be Told tonight.
Well, it's not like it's George Bush sitting next to Ellen DeGeneres.
Oh, hey now.
That was funny too. But no, that goes back.
ridiculous.
Wait, one more point. That goes back to the whole black and white, right? She was like, "Why the fuck is this a big deal that I'm sitting next to? He's my friend." And she actually was like, "I know him. I've hung out with him." It's like, why is it a big deal? Because she's a lesbian and he's a Republican. This is what we have to like.
Oh, we were discussing something like this last night. Actually, you and I were talking about this last night about why. Like, we don't need to have the same beliefs and thoughts as our friends do.
Oh, this is when we're at
You just have to have respect for that other person.
Yes.
If you can have a totally different thought than I can. And this goes in any kind of relationship, whether it's marriages or friendships.
Yeah, this is
anything.
Like
it's
life in general.
Life in general. You can have different thoughts than other people. I've never understood this, actually. This drives me insane. Why can't... And we don't even need to talk about it. Like, honestly... Sometimes I just don't even want to talk to people about things. Because you have your thought, I have mine. You're not going to change my mind. I'm probably not going to change yours.
Mother.
Yeah, well, whatever.
I'm showing Cheryl this 30 seconds right there. That was Cheryl Burgess right there.
Oh shit!
I don't even. Oh my god.
Shit.
Oh.
But anyway,
Yeah.
but that's the point, though. That is the point. You don't have to have the same thoughts to respect each other. I can still respect you, even though we don't agree on everything.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's
sure.
a lot of stuff we don't agree on.
Yeah, 100%.
But like I said, that is the problem with the actual like social media, because someone can instantly just like out of context tweet and say, "Oh look,
Yeah.
Ellen DeGeneres is sitting next to George Bush." Like, who gives a shit?
Who cares?
Who cares?
I don't care.
Like,
Maybe they enjoy. Well, what were they sitting next to each other for? I don't even know.
It was a Dallas football game.
Oh well, then hey, they both like football.
Like, they're both Dallas Cowboys fans.
Awesome.
But
Okay, great.
But at the same time, I look at it differently. Like, that's something they can agree on. So why can't they?
Why can't they just?
And in the
It's not
moment,
like they were sitting there talking politics.
maybe
all the
they
time.
were. Who cares?
But they probably weren't. They were probably rooting on the
But in
damn
the
Cowboys.
moment, though, they're connected, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Awesome.
That's what live sports, live entertainment does to people. They don't even. But well, nowadays it doesn't do that shit because people are too busy, recording it. But there's a group of people that necessarily don't all agree on the same thing. They can find a happy medium, and at that moment in time, they're all connected and going for the same cause. You know.
Well,
what I'm
that
saying?
just made me think too. So, now the thought just ran out of my head. See, this is what happens sometimes.
All right, we'll save it for next time.
Yeah, I will. I'll think
For
about
when
it
we
again.
can sit here and be cheesy together. See, that's what I was saying. It feels so fucking cheesy.
Oh
Holy
god,
shit.
whatever.
So unprofessional.
But everybody wants to see my pretty face.
That's
Otherwise,
true.
they wouldn't be able to see my pretty face. Maybe next time I'll just put you in the kitchen and I'll just be on the screen.
It's my show. This ain't the Kelly Toll show. I'm sorry.
Oh. But it's truth be told.
Yeah.
Which I'm told. Telling the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right.
Yeah. Wrapping it up.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, all 3 of you, 4 of you. I'm sure more people watch the replay.
If not, I had fun.
Well, yeah, of course. That's all it was about anyway.
Peace.
So we'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah.
Peace.